what we want of them in their professional lives is we want them to be the leaders. We want them to be the ones that are blazing the path to a new discovery or a new way of doing business. We want them to be able to think about, if I solve this, this is an important problem to solve, and here's a way to solve it that will make a difference. That's what we want. If you look and say what happens traditionally in training, it's a very protected environment. There's a concern, if you talk to most faculty, about making sure that a fellow or a graduate student comes into, say, a laboratory, that they work on a project, that you provide a lot of guidance as to the content of that project and the direction of that project. Eventually, they leave that laboratory, and then they're on their own, and they have to figure out what to do. Our premise is that we want to put them as much on their own as we can from the very, very beginning. If you say, we ask the fellows, what problem do you want to solve? Convince me that that's an important problem to solve, and then convince me that you have a plausible way to address that problem. And that act is actually the most challenging element of training. Figuring out the right problem to solve is the hardest part of doing research. It's the hardest part of creating a company. It is figuring out what, once you've defined what you're going to solve, there are usually many approaches to solving it, if you can convince people that that's a worthwhile problem to solve. So what we're doing is in fact very uncomfortable to traditional faculty. They are used to thinking of postdocs coming into their laboratory and joining a research program that they've started, that's already been in existence. One of the things we learned early on is that we had to be very careful not to call this program a postdoc program. And one simple reason is they aren't all necessarily post-PhDs. But the more important reason is, as soon as you say the word postdoc, what is in the minds of people hearing the word is an individual going into the laboratory of a faculty member and working on a project in that faculty member's laboratory. That's not what we're doing. We're asking these fellows to work on an equal level as colleagues of their faculty. We're saying, you go talk to a faculty member and seek their collaboration. That's a very different construct than a classical postdoc.